Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers, and now the data is in. We're hearing more and more rumors how the government is about to revise massive amounts of data that is suggesting that the labor market this entire time was not strong. In fact, they potentially are going to call recession back into October of 2023. That's crazy. If that happens, you guys, Danielle DiMartino Booth was right this whole time. I mean, the data revisions right now are out of control, but I'm not laughing at that. All right. What's happening right now in America is so bad. It's so depressing. I don't even know what to call this country anymore. You guys, we hear headline after headline after headline on how great the labor market is, on how great the economy is. But when we look at Main Street, when I talk to my friends and my family and I look at myself, things are not great. I'm losing money. I'm having a very difficult time saving money, and I'm always rebudgeting. I'm trying to plan ahead, and I can barely survive right now. I can barely afford to live right now. And what's happening behind the scenes, you guys, it's outright criminal. The layoffs right now are exploding, and all of those really good full-time jobs are only being replaced by gig jobs, by like part-time jobs, second jobs, or being completely replaced by government jobs. The labor market is not okay. And so what I want to do today is we're going to take a listen to a video from someone that just got laid off. And I want you guys to listen to what he's saying, the pain in this man's voice. And I want you guys to think about this. This man prepared to be laid off and still got blindsided. So we're going to look at that. We'll also take a look at what's going on with Microsoft. Microsoft just announced a bunch of layoffs. We'll take a look at John Deere, good old John Deere, also starting to do a bunch of layoffs. And we'll review a comprehensive list on what the updated layoffs are. But regardless, I want you guys to do me a favor. Just be careful right now how you spend your money. Remember what happened to me. I had my bankruptcy, I had my foreclosure, I had my repossession, I had a tax lien, a six-figure tax lien as a result of a foreclosure. But the depression that came with all of that was the worst part of it all. And the reason I'm saying that to you is if I would have rearranged my life just 6 months before I lost everything, I would be a millionaire right now. I remember after the housing market crashed and I also lost everything, I remember finding houses 50, 60% under market value, and I couldn't buy because my credit and my purchasing power was destroyed. And that gave me even more depression because I was like, dang, I could buy that house right now and be a millionaire in 4 years, but I can't because I lost everything. And I don't want that to happen to you. So if you have any inclination of distress at your employer, please, you guys, or just do this no matter what. Stop right now, rebudget, make a goal to save money, and just go after that goal and be happy and be proud of yourself. That's what I believe most of us should be doing. But regardless, you guys, let's listen to this man who happened to be employed in the housing market. The housing market is not resilient. And you guys, I will have this man's info linked in my description. So go over to his page, like this video, give him a subscription, and tell him Real Estate Mindset sent you. I'd love to interview him, to be honest, but take a listen to what this man has to say.
Hey everyone, I got bad news today. Thursday was my last official day of work. The plant that I worked at is closed. I wanted to talk about that, what I think it means. My industry was in the housing, windows and doors industry, residential windows and doors. We closed a plant in September of 2023. I was successfully able to get a job at another plant in the same company, and now we've closed that second plant. Our sales have dropped so substantially that they literally closed a successful plant that survived the 2008 recession, just to give you some insight. When I look on the news, we're told that the job market's strong, that the consumer's strong, while our sales continue to drop. I don't have all the data of what happened, but closing a business full of machinery, laying off people, giving severance packages, terminating leases prematurely, it's not cheap.
So to put this back into perspective, he got laid off twice. And he makes a good point. To shut down a warehouse full of machinery, that's expensive. And his company survived the GFC, which means, you guys, I'm trying to tell you, things are worse right now than the GFC. The thing is we can't see that. Well, I can see that. A lot of people can't see that because of the inflation. The inflation is manipulating the numbers. The inflation is the money printing. When they do money printing, it devalues money and it makes the cost of living more expensive. And right now we feel that, we see that. There's no question. I feel it. I'm hurting. I'm worried myself. This man got laid off twice. And not only that, as he continues to tell his story, you're going to see that he actually went through the GFC. And so now he's going to warn you on what he's saying now compared to what he saw during the great financial crisis.
I was a carpenter in 2008, and the housing was already starting to kind of collapse before the economy collapsed. It's important to understand that. I remember people putting their homes for sale in 2008, and the economy tanked afterwards. I remember the Union Hall saying that we were going to have less building permits next year. Nobody seemed to flinch or care because work was strong at that time. You couldn't hire enough carpenters. Nobody wanted to do it. There was not enough people wanting to work construction. This, I think, is different. I think what's going to happen is that so many people have bought into the narrative that prices aren't coming down, things are going to stay high forever. Get yourself into an asset, whether it's a house or the S&P 500 or some kind of crypto Bitcoin thing. And they have so much believe that as things start to fall down, for example, closing a Big Lots down the street or closing a fun park or another business closing, and they see that their asset's still very expensive, they validate that belief.
So let me ask you, are you guys buying into the narrative of mainstream media to get you to just spend? No, I get it. I mean, everything's a narrative, right? I have my own narrative, but there's different types of narratives. There's the narratives that are narratives to get you to spend your money. And those people that are pushing that narrative generally get a commission from you spending your money based on their narrative. And then there's the narrative like mine, which is be very careful and cautious with your money. And if you are going to spend your money, please do so with fundamentals. And then I show you behind the scenes on what that wedge, cash flow, and how investors purchase. But nevertheless, you guys, we don't need to be buying into a narrative that is designed to keep us enslaved in debt. Okay? That's what he's saying. And also, don't be a sucker and think that prices don't go down. And if you listen to Dave Ramsey, stop. That man has said, gone on record, that home prices have only gone down one time on a nationwide average in 2008. That is so ludicrous. It's shocking to me. So I understand why that narrative has taken over so many households. Dave Ramsey's way bigger than Real Estate Mindset. I can't even fathom how many people that man has influenced. But my point is, prices go down, and that is a fact. I mean, this guy's going through a lot of pain. Listen to what he has to say now.
So your biggest economic sector, which I think is probably housing, at least in the United States. Your biggest sector that drives a lot of jobs, whether it be furniture at IKEA or remodeling, or in my case, windows and doors. Your biggest sector doesn't have people selling or buying. And if you're not buying or selling, there's no velocity. And the prices stay high, and people believe nothing's going to collapse. And slowly these industries start dying little by little. And people start losing their jobs. Real estate brokers don't have anything to sell. Yet people will still buy a house for 1.1 million that was 550,000 in San Diego 5-6 years ago, and don't question a single thing about it. So in this crash, this real estate crash, I don't think it's going to crash the same way as 2008. I think other areas of the country will start collapsing, and prices will still stay high. And I think they may call it stagflation. And I think the last thing to go will be the housing market. But when it goes, it just doesn't go like it did in 2008. When it goes, it goes. People don't want to move because they can't afford to move. So that $1.1 million home that they bought 25 years ago, they may feel good on the inside, but they have nowhere to go. And when those people start letting go en masse, because they have to, it will start a collapse of pricing like we've never seen before. That's my theory.
Let me ask you guys this. Why does someone have to get laid off to have these types of epiphanies? I mean, I had to be laid off, bankruptcy, repo, and all this stuff for me to have my realization on, wow, the system's really designed against me. The system is designed to take my money and to profit off of my bad spending habits. This man is a genius, but he had to lose, not everything, but he had to lose a lot to come to this level of understanding. And I hope you guys don't have to do that. Just look at what he's going through, listen to what he's saying, and he's suggesting that this is going to be worse than the GFC. And I also want to say that we have stagflation right now. The housing market is the last to go probably right now. In fact, I'll say that the house prices, that's what's keeping everything propped up. The recent homeowners are paying the biggest portion of the inflation. Biggest portion of the inflation. And so it's new homeowners. So this guy, I mean, seriously, guys, comment below. What do you think about this man so far? I think his epiphanies, his opinions, his insights, I think it's spot on. I think if you really want to know what's going on, you got to listen to the people that are in it, that are in the ditches, that are getting attacked, that are at war. This citizen is in pain, and he's sharing with us a warning. I hope you guys are listening. Let's listen to a little bit more.
I don't know what to make of this. When the S&P 500 is rallying, when the housing market, at least in my city, is like out of control, but I don't see people moving money around. When I go to McDonald's and I spend $50 for feeding 4 people, 2 of them are children. That's not a joke, by the way. When I see the price of a new truck, that's $20,000 more than a truck, same model, it's only 10 years older, but the same truck. I start thinking like people's wages haven't jumped that high.
Correct.
Where's this money coming from?
Good question.
When I see people who bought the house for 1.1 million, is their wage higher than it was 10 years ago? Sometimes I think the price of a house is only dictated by the loan that they're willing to give you for it. I don't think people actually care what the cost is of something. If homes in San Diego were $2 million, I think they just make 50-year loans and people would buy the home for $2 million. I think if they were $3 million, people would just figure out a loan. They'd stretch it out. So you get all these forces at play pushing on things too quickly where wages haven't risen to compensate for that much debt load. And all it takes is a few things to fall in and the whole thing falls apart. I don't know how, with this low sales volume of houses, low inventory, people don't want to move, people don't want to buy, people don't want to sell. I don't know how things keep going. Where do people work? We don't make nothing in America. This iPhone that I'm on is made in China. It's $1,500. It's the price of a laptop.
The man nailed it. Wages have not kept up. Pretty much all areas of real, which is adjusted for inflation, all areas of income have gone down, not up. This man's talking about spending $50 at McDonald's. I remember when I was a child, we used to be able to get a taco for $1 and to drink. I knew that because on the way home from soccer practice, I would always ask my mom to stop by the drive-through Baker. It was called Baker's. It was a Mexican fast food restaurant, but regardless, it was 99 cents for a meal. She could feed the entire family for $5. Now they're spending $50. And I really admire this man's courage. I admire how he's able to basically describe everything that he's saying because this is a man that's broken. This is a man that, just like you and I, has been watching mainstream media and has been asking himself, am I crazy? Are things this well? And then he got laid off twice. He's so right, you guys. People don't care. And it's because so many people don't care. That's why that generally the people that do care can get ahead. Right now in America, most of us, all we need to do is make a decision to succeed or a decision to get ahead, and we will. That is the beauty of America. Now, they've made that really hard with the inflation, but that is starting to change. And what you don't want to do is give up hope. The moment you give up hope, the establishment wins. So we got a couple more minutes to listen. You guys, I didn't necessarily want to listen to this whole thing, but it's going to start getting really, really good. So I'm going to continue to play this. Please bear with me. I got a couple more things to go over after this next segment.
When I look at apartments for rent, a 2-bedroom apartment's $2,700. That's more than a house. That's more than a house was just five years ago. How is that possible? Where did people get this extra money from? The stimulus was a big thing, but it wasn't that much money. So are we all drinking the Kool-Aid together? Are we all believing that we can afford the lifestyles that we have right now? Are we lying to each other?
Yes.
Are you going and taking a credit card and swiping the card because your house went up in value and you've believed that you can pay off that debt because your home's worth more than it was 5 years ago? What is happening where I'm watching the news and I'm being told things are okay, but I can't see where it's okay? I see the homeless everywhere. I see graffiti. I see trash on the streets. But you'll take a guy who's selling Mexican strawberry raspados on the corner, and I'll see a police officer telling him to pick up his stuff and go. He's got a nice banner. He's got the Venmo QR code. He's got a line of people, satisfied customers. He's friendly. And the police will come and tell him to pick up his stuff and go, or they're going to arrest him. But you'll let a homeless guy pee and poop on the street, and I have videos of that kind of stuff, and you won't do a thing about it. I don't know what's happening. I'm concerned. I'm hoping that I'm wrong, but I think something's really wrong out here. And I think a lot of us see it. We don't know how to define it.
But let's try to define it. If you guys can, do me a favor for all this hard work, define it below. If you can, comment below. What are you experiencing? How would you define what's going on right now in America and in the labor market? Are we all lying to ourselves? Are we all drinking the same Kool-Aid? Is it the media that's dishing out the Kool-Aid? Describe below what's going on. And if you can, pour your heart into it. Let us know what you're going through, because we feel alone right now. The reason why we feel alone is no one's talking about this. I mean, look at this man. We got to go to YouTube. This guy's got to get laid off. This isn't on mainstream media. Comment below and help someone. All right, guys, let's listen to the last part of this interview and we're done.
We sometimes keep it to ourselves. When I saw the financials for my company be really poor, I tightened up my wallet. I wanted to buy a dirt bike, to be clear. I wanted a dirt bike really bad. But I didn't think that that my job was safe. I started tightening up my money because I didn't think I was going to have a job in a few months. And then my predictions came true and the plant closed. Now, how many people out there went and got the dirt bike? Went and bought the new house? Went and bought the new F-150 4x4 and then lost their job?
Bingo.
I was already tightening up. Some people are going to have to tighten up the hard way. I don't have anything else to say. I'm just going to leave it off at this. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Holy smokes, right? I mean, we get blessed every once in a while with something like this. This video is so genuine. It's so authentic. This is a man that is hurting And I want you guys to understand what he's saying. He was preparing for this and he still got caught off guard. Imagine all of the people that, like he was saying, that didn't prepare for it, that just spent money on these overpriced vehicles, overpriced houses. They lose their job and they lose everything financially. Think about what this man is saying. We don't have to have an immaculate house and nice shoes and wallets. I haven't bought shoes, I don't know how long. I haven't bought a suit in I don't know how long. What I care about right now, I want a balanced life. I want my children to be safe. I want them to be taken care of. Same thing with my wife. I don't want to take over the world. I don't want to own 50 houses. I just want a balanced life. That's it. And I believe it's the same thing with you guys. Let me show you a few more articles here and then we're going to wrap this video up. Now, here's the situation, you guys. 2025 is looking like things are going to get much worse, not only because we have Basel III that is going to ravage the banking sector, but according to this article, and this is from Federal News Network, this was put out on June 5th, and this is saying Democrats warn layoffs ahead as House GOP proposes agency spending cuts. You guys, what's happening right now in Congress is everyone's fighting to cut government spending because so much of the job market has been government induced. This is going to make drastic impacts into unemployment. So this is a warning. 2025, things are going to get worse. Also, some breaking news. As of June 4th, we have more information that's stating that Microsoft is doing additional layoffs. Microsoft plans to lay off another 1,000 people across the tech giant, despite what CEO described during the corporation's April earnings call as a record third quarter. The reason why it's a record third quarter is the inflation. Because if it wasn't the inflation, they would not have to lay off people. So they have record quarter, they make all of this money, and they fire all of these people. I mean, this is not fair. And that's Microsoft. Now look at this, guys. John Deere, good old American John Deere, is also announcing layoffs. 49 laid off in Waterloo, 58 laid off here, 190 workers being laid off after, 300 plus. I mean, you guys, the layoffs are spiraling. And we have a comprehensive list right here. If you guys want to go back to this article, this is put out on June 4th as well. And this is just going to go into the monthly layoffs. This is just messed up, you guys. I mean, look at in June, and we're not even, it's only June 7th right now. It's only June 7th. We have Microsoft layoffs, Orcam, more Google layoffs, Tropic. May, we had Grow Intelligence, Jasper. Look at Walmart, huge one as well. I mean, we have Lucid Motors, TikTok, Pixar. Geez, I mean, look at this. Indeed. Another Google, brilliant. Microsoft as well. I mean, they're laying off every month. Look at April, Tesla, another Google. This is real bad. Nike, Expedia, another Google. This is crazy. Another Tesla, TikTok. You guys, Apple. This is Whirlpool, AWS. This is crazy. And then March, the same thing. Nintendo of America, Dell. I mean, this is absolutely wild. And when I say absolutely wild, what I'm referring to is it's wild that mainstream media and these corporations don't want you to know what's going on. And so here's where I want to leave you guys. If you're worried about your job, if you have any inclination of a declining economy and you still have your job, well, congratulations. You still have time to readjust your life. In fact, this morning and last night, my wife and I, once again, we're rebudgeting. And we found that, I don't know how this happens. It just happens. The subscriptions once again spiraled out of control. So we're rebudgeting that, and by us spending less money, it gives us an ability to save more money. And the name of the game, guys, I'm just going to bottom line here. You got to save money. You have to put yourself in a situation to where you're saving. And that right now, y'all, is very difficult to do. And because it's difficult to do, we have to try harder. Don't let what I'm saying go in one ear and out the other. If you want to get ahead, then you must plan ahead. And it's as simple as that. Now, other than that, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck, and I hope you win.